this is 97. People go to Newfoundland now and they're like, yo, Newfoundland is developed, it's looking nice. Or some of them have the opposite reaction. Man, this place is crap. It still looks like crap. I was like, all right, cool. Where were you in 97? So 97, I remember, we go through Paris, we go through all these various big cities. Toronto, I think we spent like a night here in Toronto before going to Newfoundland the following day due to the snowstorm. We arrived in Newfoundland February 26, 1997. All right, cool. There's nothing to be seen. Like as far as the eyes can go, from the airport. The airport is already out of the city. But like it's just extra woods. It seems they knew we were coming. And they were like, let's put some extra trees.
I just want to point out that both of them lived in a big city. Let me just say that.
Right? I think that's going to be the real punchline. So then, but here is what I remember the most. Like we came, those t-shirts. Like we were wearing like a regular t-shirt. It wasn't like Fruit of the Loom. This thing was a no-name t-shirt from Africa. And then wearing those African pants with all the design and things like that on it. I remember that. And then we had these boots. And then they gave us those refugees jacket. The refugees jacket. Everybody got those.
From Valley Village?
No. Oh, you got yours from Valley Village?
That's usually where they come from.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
You guys all had the same jacket?
No, they gave us all different jackets.
Yeah,
but you know the new...
Special.
Was that the Columbia brand or something?
Colombian
At
brand.
Valley Village?
Yeah, there was a when I got to Newfoundland, there was a brand that everybody was wearing. It was called it was just Columbia.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. There was no.
You wouldn't see that at Valley
Yeah,
Village.
you wouldn't see that. So then we get there. But I remember this lady, Donna. I think it was Donna. Her name.
Yeah, Donna.
Yeah, oh, you remember Donna? Okay, cool. So Donna came and got us, pick us up. She was going to show us the city, whatever. And like we're driving around the city. We're driving around. We're right down on Water Street, doing the whole 9 yard. And you know that when you come in, you know what the Delta Hotel is? Okay, so that blue building with the glass, everything around it. All right, cool. So we're coming down the hill. And Donna is like, yo, look at the glass building. Guys, do you like the back glass building, whatever? And yo, my little self, I'm peeking at the window, I'm looking, I'm trying to find this building, I'm looking for skyscrapers. And I was like, you just keep going on with this building. So I was like, what is the building? And she goes like, that building over there. I'm like, what building? She said, that one. At this point, the thing is like two levels or like 3 levels, right? I was like, oh, shit, man. And for weeks, that was like the butt of the joke. I said, can you imagine? She was telling us the building. Ivory Coast is developed. Like, they call it like small New York, whatever, just because skyscrapers and whatnot. Like, you go to Plateau, developed. Skyscrapers everywhere. Even where we live. Like, we live in one of the biggest compounds because my mother's connection in Ivory Coast, he was rich. He was friends with the president. You couldn't go into that compound without going through security. Now, I know you just need a little bit of money to get some security. But this is what you would see. All you saw were like those limousines. There was like 4 or 5 different limousines just parked in the yard. And you have, like, it was crazy. So like, the money didn't belong to us, but it was nice just being in that environment. You understand?
You were associated with it.
I was associated. I was associated by connection. Yeah, so no, it was a huge shock. I was like, man, they bring us to this village.
I'm going to be straight up and say, my dumbass thought Newfoundland. Oh, the newest part of Canada. That's what my dumbass, man, like, my God, when we got there and we came from like, yeah. It's that same, I was a kid, man. I was a kid and we came there and I was
you knew
like.
You were going to Canada?
We knew we were going to Canada. We knew we were going to Newfoundland. But like, it was just like, I don't know, as a kid, I don't know why I didn't bother. Like back then, you don't like Google everything like you do now, right? So like, but it was called Newfoundland. Like they just found
Nobody
it,
told
like
us
legit.
shit. We didn't
like,
know. We thought we were going to America.
Like, oh, they just.
We were watching the movies, the old black and white movies, and it's like nice, beautiful place. I'm like, yeah, great.
Yeah, like, oh man. But when I got there, man, and then I went around like to the bay, which is what they call like, oh man, 3,000 people in the town show up during a snowstorm and all you see is a silhouette of boats.
How long did it take you to become a celebrity?
Oh man, like first day. Like So my mom had a rental car, right? My mom had a rental car that her job rented for her, and like we're driving around, looking around. Initially, then we see this car following us around. We're like, what the hell? Like, who's this person? They followed us all over the city, followed us home, right? Pull in their driveway, and it's two girls get out there like, hi, we hear you guys are new in town. You want to hang out with us? Two white girls, like same age as us. Nice. That's literally where it started. But it just like it blew me away. I was like, what the like
a celebrity welcome,
right? Like just pick you up from the house
welcome
immediately when
the
you get there. Right, man. I always like asking people what you thought because in South Africa and you got to be like a little bit tough. Somebody stares at you, stare them back. You got to be ready to go at all times.
Same thing with Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast. I always say I say to people if you can't survive in Abidjan, there's a place called Trashville where we first stayed when we got to Ivory Coast. Trashville, Makori. These are all crazy locations. Even right now, I got a brother who stays there, and I'm like, yo, have you been to Trashville? He said, bro, you don't want to go to Trashville. That's what he tells me, and I'm like, dude, I'm dying to come because I want to go to Trashville. But he's like, but anyway, the point is that those are really rough neighborhoods. But if you come from that
to here, it's like
to here, you know.
Man, I was like, why? People be smiling, waving. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so happy? Come the fuck down. That was basically me, 100%.
I love that about Newfoundland, that people were just so nice. They were just I don't know.
They were nice, but also inquisitive in a way.
Oh yeah, they want.
Because we weren't used to that.
They want to know.
We weren't used to people.
They want to know what you had for breakfast.
How you got there?
Yeah, they're just interested. They're just so interested.
No pun.
Yeah. It was. It's very, honestly, probably the most welcoming place. You show up, they're like, oh, so nice to see you. You've never seen me before, but it's so nice to see you. Right. Come over for dinner.
Tell you it's a nice day out during a snowstorm.
I did not hear that one.
Because for me, that was the way, at least around the Bay, that's the way they started conversations. Walk up to you, nice day out, and I'll be like, it's a snowstorm. What do you mean it's a nice day out?
That really, for us, explained a lot when we first moved here. Yeah. Not that it was always a nice day out, but on a nice day, someone would actually say nice day and start a conversation. Yeah. And there was this guy when we lived in the Gambia. He'd spent some of his life in Holland, Netherlands, and every day he'd be like, nice day, isn't it? And we were confused because we're like, there's two weathers. It's either hot and sunny or it's raining. Where does this nice day come from? It's literally always a nice day when it's hot and sunny. So what is this difference? Why are you making a point about it? Yeah. But then moving to North America, I get it. Seasons and that. But I feel like that guy was onto something. Every day should be a nice day.
He lived there. Yeah, he lived there, I guess, so he kind of understood. So, what was your, going back to the question, because I feel like you didn't even answer the question. What was your first impression?
What was the question?
Your first impression of Newfoundland?
It's cold. The very first impression, cold. But I think we were also kind of curious. We were like, oh, this is different.
You were curious.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is different. We
were looking out.
No. It wasn't like. I think initially it wasn't like, this is shit. These aren't skyscrapers. They told me about skyscrapers, but we knew we were going to Newfoundland, except when we Googled.
And it wasn't the newest part of Canada?
No, we didn't. We actually went on the dial-up and Googled it. And what we saw was the rest of Canada and not Newfoundland. But at the same time, when you've been flying for 3 days, you finally get somewhere. Yeah. You're like, all right, this is nice. So it was obviously different. Yeah. You show up, I think it was September. You're like, all right, We Googled the weather. We're one sweater. And then we get here from like 40 degrees to 10 degrees. And we're like, you gotta go inside.
I remember, like, my brother and I, we were kind of fascinated by the snow, because you know back then you're young. So we used to run out in the snow, like no shirt, and like run around in it and whatnot. And then we get so cold, like our finger would get really, really cold. And then we decide, oh, it was a smart idea to go back in the house and turn on the hot water and Look, I know you guys did.
No, I did not do that.
You didn't do it? You didn't do it?
Let me
Ah,
ask you a serious question. Are you still fascinated by the snow?
yeah, I'm still fascinated by this. I am definitely still fascinated by the snow, that it never ends. It just comes every year. And the winters are long too.
What I used to do was, you know, like I'm tough, I'm African, so yeah, I can shovel the driveway in shorts and t-shirt.
I know you guys wore
Yeah,
t-shirts and
Yeah,
shorts.
like I can shovel the driveway in the shorts and t-shirt. And the thing is that like people will be driving by, like looking at us. I'm like, what? This is fine. Until like 5 minutes later, you know, and I'm like, I gotta go back inside. But yeah, man.
I was on the opposite side of that. Wear as much as you can. How many layers can you fit on?
So when I got to St. John's, actually, taxis were on strike, right? Yeah, like taxis were on strike. So like I remember because we had winter jackets. You know, we walked out like, all right, cool, and we had just come from Germany, and it was snowing in Germany, right? So but Germany ain't cold. Because I was just like, it's all right. I mean, it's cold, but you know, I can survive this. In Germany, my God, like. I mean, not in Germany, sorry, in Newfoundland, my God, because we got out, I was like, I can't feel my face, can't feel my ears, like, why are we doing here? My little brother looked at my mom and was like, why did you bring us here? Like, why would you do this to us, basically, right?
And Newfoundland's not that cold. It gets colder in other places.
It gets colder here, right?
Yeah, it does. It gets colder here. But it was...
But that wind, though.
Oh, yeah, the wind. Oh, man.
That Newfoundland wind.
Let me say for you, I bet your mom used to drive you everywhere. Also, you were in the Bay. All your friends were your neighbors anyway.
My mom didn't drive me nowhere, fam.
Well, then all your friends were your neighbors anyway. It didn't take long to get anywhere. Imagine you're outside waiting for a bus after you climbed the snowbank to get into the bus stop. And now there's no bus shelter. And it's a snowstorm, so the bus is already going to be like 30 minutes late. And the bus comes every hour. And you just got that wild wind just blowing, and you're in your hoodie like this.
But Frank, why? Yo, Frank,
in the direction.
Frank, I feel like you should have been prepared for that, because you come from a military mother.
Hey,
you
man.
were trained already.
No.
You were prepared. You should be
She
prepared.
was in the military. I was not.
You never had to march.
Well, I was in the Boy Scouts. We marched.
There you go. There you go.
But it's funny. You just reminded me of something. Like when she got her first car there, Mazda Protege, maroon, and the first car I crashed, or I got crashed into. And we're at the dealership. She's getting this lease, and they're like, for an extra $5, you can get power windows and air conditioning. She goes, no, we don't need that. And we were there begging her, like, come on, no one wants to do this anymore. We left this in Africa.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what she got. So glad that car got crashed.
Was there any point where she's like, where's the heat? I mean, like, where's the air conditioning, especially like during the winter? Oh, yeah, fair enough. So she made a smart call then.
She made a very smart call. Very smart call on the air conditioning. The power windows. That was very silly.
I think your mom was sending a deep message saying, Frank, work out, go to the gym.
No, she was saying, I'm not spending an extra $5 a month just so you can be comfortable and not have to roll your windows up.
You came from the struggle. She didn't want you to turn out like the bougie ass kids.
It's not a bad lifestyle.
So yeah, well, with that said, like, you know, I mean, shout out to Newfoundland. I feel like Newfoundland, it's always going to be a second home for me and my family, and I'm sure you guys will attest to that as well. Even with all of that, like we had now when I look around and I'm looking around Calgary and I'm like, and these guys are like, oh yeah, we're living it up. I said, nah, you're not. You're shooting it up. Like, you're not living it up. We had the best of life growing up in a town where we didn't have the type of drama that as men, like I was just talking to you now about some crazy neighborhood you all got going on here, Jen and Finch. Yeah, and you know, like we didn't have these issues. We really didn't have drugs issues. We didn't have guns issues. We didn't have this type of violence. There was the, you know, drama on female here and there, but it wasn't that severe. So shout out to Newfoundland for giving us the opportunity to grow up in a place, peaceful, great people, great, wonderful people. So yeah, we love y'all.
Yeah, shout out to Newfoundland for kind of softening me up. I feel like when I came here, I was always ready to go, no matter what. And like I don't think you can live that kind of lifestyle in Newfoundland. It will soften you up. Enough people will wave at you, you start waving back.
What was the question? Wait, shout out to Newfoundland. Oh man, great place. One of my favorite memories of them just being kind of closed off, and they like initially they had seen like 2 black people, and I was working at a Mark's Work Warehouse, folding jeans, amazing fold. This guy walks in with his 3-year-old, and his 3-year-old looks at me and goes, "Look, Dad, he's chocolate."
I got the same thing at the mall.
Yeah. I found it hilarious.
Right.
It's a 3-year-old. I found it hilarious.
At least you say chocolate.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
The dad was embarrassed, but I found it hilarious. But, I mean, you know, it's one of those places where they...
See, that's how you know that family is not racist.
No, exactly.
It said chocolate.
Yeah. They didn't... Exactly. Racism wasn't really a thing there. Like, they didn't care about the color of your skin so much.
No, not all of them.
For the most part.
There was
For
racism.
the most part.
There's racism. That's a different conversation. You can't even defend that.
Can I finish my shout out, or are you guys gonna interrupt every step of the way? For the most part, it wasn't an issue to the point where, you know, you got to get out and protest. It wasn't an issue like that, because in some ways, majority of the population there is just so welcoming. At least that's what I remember.
Yeah, just to challenge you on that, though, I also think that it wouldn't be an issue generally for any Canadian province or anywhere in the world if cops hadn't started killing black people broad daylight for no damn reason. Like, it wouldn't even be a protesting thing. We wouldn't even be talking protesting right now. We'd be talking theory at this point.
That's not where I was trying to go with this.
Oh, okay, but that's where we went with it.
All I said was chocolate one time.
Yeah, I don't think they were like, I don't think racism was a thing. I think a lot of teenagers watched some rap videos and, you know, like apparently black people are tough, right? So they wanted to come at us and see how we react to it. I think a lot of it was just being misinformed. Like, I think, like, again, because, like, we used to tell people we got here on really fast canoes and they believed us. I once got asked if, like, I ever had to deal with a lion while trying to walk home from school on the street. Like this is what like Newfoundland was at the time. I just think it was just a lot of misinformation. And to be honest with you, like coming from South Africa where racism was really a thing, like you almost had to laugh at what was going on in Newfoundland. Right?
I appreciate that. But I think like one of my most racist memory of Newfoundland, actually 2 occasions. So I'm working at probably or 2. Let's get into it. So the first one, I was working at Surplus, and the lady come in from the Bay Area. And because I always mess with people like that, you know, it's like, oh, where you from? Oh, I'm from the Bay, kind of deal, right? Like, you know, just tell them and name some random Bay place. And the most popular one that I would always name was Bay Robert, because that's where Andrew's cabin was, and I knew that one pretty well. So I was like, yo, it's 45 minutes away. I could literally give you instruction to that one. So anyway, this lady come in this one day, and she's like, you know, she's like, where you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from the Bay. She's like, where in the Bay? The Bay Robert. She just looked at me like with this disgust. She's like, there's no way you're from the Bay.
It's a small town. Yeah, she hasn't seen you.
Yeah,
How dare you be from where she hasn't seen
But
you?
listen to what she says next. She's like, if you were from the Bay, we would have used you for science experiment.
Okay. Wow.
I told
Yeah, I
you.
never got that.
Racist.
Me neither. Yeah.
I was, you know, and then I'm like, what? So then my manager, shit, I'm trying to remember his name now. But anyway, he pulled me aside. He's like, yo, listen, let me talk to you. I said, nah. She just said that shit to me. I said, look, because I was ready to act up. And then, you know, I got pulled away from that situation. So got that one. All right, that's one. You know, when it comes to racism, we all live different lifestyle, and that's the work environment. So I didn't expect that to come. It came so fast. I mean, you know. So then the second encounter of racism that I had in Newfoundland was when I'm living on Crosby Road, the apartment. My boy Phil, Speed, you know, come over, whatever. We're having some El Dorado, everything is good, and you know, the boy's like, yo, let's go out. I'm like, nah, I don't want to go out. Like, yo, let's go out. I'm like, I want to go out. I just want to drink El Dorado and chill. So we had a few drinks by now. Say, yo, let's go out. I say, okay, say no more. Let's go. Where we going? So, you know, up on Crosby Road, there's this Dominion where the old Dominion used to be, right around that area. There's this bar there, right? So we're going, we get there, and Phil is behind, Speed's in front, I'm in the middle. Speed walked past by this guy, and this guy says, yo, what these monkeys doing in here? All right. And then, but Phil hears it too, right? And that started up a whole different thing. Like, everybody came out the bar. Like, we had chairs ready to go. Outside. Oh, yeah, like a huge, because a whole gang of them. These are people that drink together, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, like, I would not exempt any city of racism just because, you know, I appreciate that it's been great, but yeah.
But I mean, I still think that a lot of it was just what they saw on TV and them acting. Like, for me,
experiment, dog.
No, the experiment one was bad. I'm talking about the experiment you had, what you had in the bar, right? That's just, you see something on TV and get it. Like, I've lived in places where like white people legit hated me. Even like, so I have a scar over my right eye. Okay. Because I got punched in the face by somebody holding a plastic. Yeah, so the situation I'm talking about is when, basically, somebody says to my little brother, I stand up in front of him, my older brother stands up in front of me, and then the guy's holding a mug and throws a punch. James gets out the way somehow, I don't see because I'm talking to someone else and I get hit in the face, split my head open. Funny thing about that story is that night when I went out, my mom's like, I have a bad feeling. You should be home by 10, right? I show up at 2 a.m. with the cut my head open, and she's the one on call. So she's the one that's got to do the stitches. And the funny part is that we have family photos the next day that she refused to cancel. So in all those family photos, I still have the stitches right there. Yeah, but anyways, so cops were reaching out to me, trying to get me to snitch basically. I kept getting all these victim impact statements, and we're from Africa, fights and shit happen, nobody died. Why are the cops involved, basically, right? That's what I kept thinking. And the funny thing is that they were putting a lot of pressure on me, but then a cop calls me one day, he's like, you don't have to testify anymore. I'm like, why? Oh, the guy beat up his mom. So we're just going to go with that instead. like, right? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, to me, it's just like, yes, racism is a thing, but I don't because later on, like, I played soccer with that guy, right? It wasn't like, I just think it's just, he had seen what black people are like in rap videos, black people are like, so he wanted to step to me and see how it was. That's what I
think
thought.
we all
Anyways.
get influenced by like that's why we're all interconnected via the culture, right? We live close to each other, we interact with each other. Like you're going to go to work tomorrow with like a bunch of different people from all walks of life, right? So we all get influenced by like culture and stuff like that. I remember like, and I'm sure you guys can relate too. When you watch like this kung fu movie, you come out of these. You know, you watch these Jackie Chan films, or like even like those old kung fu movies, or even Indian movies. You start doing the dance at some point.
I don't know about the Indian movies, but I agree with
The kung fu, you come out doing.
come out like,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah.
let's try this out.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll say for sure I've never done an Indian dance.
You
or
never done an
anything
Indian
before.
dance?
No, you have?
There's one called TT. I don't know the rest of it. That's all I know.
I can say for sure, Obi has definitely done an Indian. Maybe he didn't know.
That it was an Indian
He
dance?
thought it was Nigerian. They got it from somewhere.
All right, okay, maybe. It's possible. We'll say that.
I have video.
You do? Dude, send me that video.
I don't know. Let me check my GoPro.
Let's go, bro. All right. Let's segue real quick. That's hilarious. My man and his GoPro.
But you know, you guys said something interesting there that racism isn't. You're not born with it, right?
No.
It's something you learn.
Absolutely.
From whatever prejudices that have come out of the person's life that is raising you. And, you know, they might not realize they're passing it on, but effectively that's how it happens. And even if they weren't completely racist, maybe just borderline, they probably end up giving you enough that if you end up in a situation where you have to be racist, you know, well, not that you have to, but you know what I mean. you end up leaning more towards the side of being racist than you are to the side of, you know what, it's just another person.
Yeah, but I also think too that there's like a gray line there where we want to like try not to make excuses for people actions and the things people do. So I think that these, you know, someone corrected me yesterday on several different political issues or like, you know, and my position was kind of like too neutral. It almost felt like I was making excuses for, you know, so I think like, you know, like Obi says every time, it's like, yeah, you know, sometimes these people are just influenced by like the culture or the things they pick up on the TV. But yeah, sure. We know we pick up cooking and stuff from various places, from our aunts, whatever, Food Network. But we know that stove is hot. You know?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You learn that the easy way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it the hard
Right,
way.
right.
Because you're going to touch it.
Right. We know it's hot. So, and we know that, you know, there will be consequences if we put our hands on a hot stove. So I think the same thing has to apply for all of these different, but I also think too that's part of the problem is that people we put, until it's like right in our face and it's affecting us closely, then we tend to create this blanket that we put over it to turn off that fire somehow. It's almost like a fire blanket, whatever. We're like, no, it's not that bad. It's just smoke.
Do you know what's funny? Something race-wise, right? Somebody once asked me, like, race in Canada or race in South Africa, right? And one of the things I told somebody that was like, at least, as much as I say that they might have been misinformed here, I always preferred race in South Africa because there's all these signs, right? You can turn before you get there, right? Yeah. Versus here, it's all hidden and, right? Like, oh no, it's not a real thing. Oh no, like, and then they just like it keeps popping out of places after they're hiding it, just from questions.
Like when you think about it, and I'm not sure if this happened to you before, because this happened to me with people that I went to high school with. You know, you're hanging out with these guys. You guys have been buddy for some time, whatever, and you know, suddenly they drop the N-word. Now they know that. Prior to dropping the N-word, they know it's wrong, but they're at a point where they're kind of like, yo, I'm going to just try my luck kind of deal. They know there's consequences that follow those things, and like for me, it's like if you have a suspicion that your next actions or next move is probably going to be bad, chances are don't do it. Just
I'm gonna disagree with you slightly on that one because I feel like when you're in high school, you don't go around your mom as a white kid. You don't go around your mom dropping the N-word. You're around like your boys. You guys listen to a bit of Tupac or Biggie, and you start singing that shit. All of a sudden, it's kind of normal for you to say that. For you to no, because they don't. The ignorance is so big that they listen to rap music, but they don't know where it came from. They probably.
What do you mean by don't know where it came from?
You're in high school.
Yeah.
You're in high school. You listen to rap music. You're not thinking about where it came from.
In what sense, though?
In the sense that you're thinking about, like, you listen to rap music. You hear my nigga this, my nigga that. You're like, oh, he talking about his buddies.
No.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
Again, we can't be making excuses for these things.
Oh, it's not an excuse. It's the way how, if let's say you grow up in a very tight-knit community, maybe a removed community that doesn't really engage in the rest of the world things, and no one all your life has ever told you that's a bad word, don't use it. Whatever you're watching on TV, you've never come across something that went, that's a bad word, don't use it. People are offended by that word. Then you're going to use it and think nothing of it. You're probably going to use it in the context that you've used it, which is just to say that there are maybe some kids out there that use it not to be offensive or degrade someone, but to use it the way they've heard it in a rap music video. And it's not them trying to be racist, it's them trying to relate to that rap video, trying to be as cool as what they see in the video. So that's why I said, like, that's something a bit different, but it is still happening, and I've encountered kids that have done that, and I'm not too obsessed with the word. If I was in a situation, I believe maybe I have been in a situation a couple times where someone said it, and someone asked me, "Aren't you offended?" And I'm like, I was born in Africa. I was never a slave. It doesn't offend me, but let that person know. They're going to run into the wrong person when they keep saying it, and something's going to happen. But for me, I choose not to carry that pain. What was the question?
So I'm gonna have to disagree with him on that one, 100%. Like,
What was the question?
right?
I like that segue.
I disagree with you, Frank. Like, I know that a lot of people that say don't say it out of racism, they say it out of like trying to be close. You know what I mean? Like, we're boys. Let's be close. So I get that, right? But I also think that it's still wrong. It's like I've known you for so long. Like, we're close, rather than say we're close, let's be bros, they'll drop the word, and if it pisses you off, they'll apologize and back off.
Right.
But they're not, I don't think they're racist, but I still think it's unacceptable.
Based on that, for someone that has said it to you, let me ask you this question. Have you ever sat them down and had the conversation where you go, I know we're friends, like before they said it, you sat them down, you went, I know we're friends, you're probably naive, you're young, you're like 15, 16, but don't ever use that word.
But we don't have that knowledge and understanding at that age, to sit one of our buddies down and talk to them. But that's not our responsibility.
And
that's your parents' responsibility. I'm going to beat your ass. That's what I tell them. I'm going to beat your ass if I hear that word again.
Can we segue like real quick
that's
here?
what I'm saying.
I need you all
is
to
that
give a shout out
they also don't
the
have
T-shirt.
Yeah.
Look in the camera, give a shout out, the name and whatnot before these batteries die. Let's do it.
Shout out to 18th Avenue Podcast. seen my boy Rico do a few things over the years. This is something he's really wanted to do for a while, and he's worked really hard towards it. It takes a lot of dedication to kind of get to where you've gotten, and I can continue to see you growing in this. So yeah, hopefully I'm not the biggest celebrity you have.
That's cold. Shout out to 18th Avenue Podcast, aka.
So by the way, it's 18avenuepodcast.com.
.com, .ca, .gov, .org. Yeah, I got you. No, we're going everywhere. .ca, .org, .gov,
So let's wrap up.
.usa.gov. Really impressed with what you've done with it so far. Obviously, go in very big places, and happy to be involved.
Well, couldn't do it without you, and couldn't do it without everyone who assisted me in it, and you know, whatever was like a little idea that is like, hey, listen, pitch in this and pitch in that. Like recently, you stressed that, yo, you need a business card. You need a business card. You need a business card. Don't talk to me unless you got a business card. I'm like, God damn it. And of course, Frank, you know, you were instrumental in that whole endeavor too. So I called you up and we spent time trying to restructure everything, especially from the time that I started till now. So that's great. But yeah, let's go back to that subject because I want to say something.
What do you want to say? What was the question?
I think, again, it goes back to my point that we have to stop making excuses. And the reason we need to stop doing that, I remember being around that same age. Remember the same place they were getting their information from, because we weren't learning this shit in school. So I had to learn. I was also getting these things from TVs, movies, and whatnot. I already knew terms that I could call my white friends that wasn't complimentary or respectful to them. But I refrained from doing that at that age. I knew that it would be disrespectful. It didn't matter how long I hung out with them. I never called them those terms because I knew it would, you know. And irregardless, these guys at that age, we all have enough sense, whatever. So I never told, because I lost relationship over that. I lost many relationships over that. I had a rule: the moment you call me that, we can't be friends anymore. And the reason we can't be friends is because now we don't have a respect barrier. There's no respect. There's nothing stopping me from throwing a punch at you. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Well, camera's gone up.
Let's end on that. Throwing a punch.
Thank you all for being here, and you know, I just want to thank these fellas and whatnot. We still got one camera, but yeah.
This is pressure now. Thanks for having us on here, man. This is good. This was a good experience for sure. I've never done anything like this before. I was kind of actually nervous about it, but like, yeah, great experience. Hope to do it again. Like, yeah, thanks. Frank?
Oh, this mic dead? We got the special mic. What was the question? Oh yeah, good times. Always fun doing a podcast with Rico. I mean, this was a lot more serious than the last one we did. The last one was more freestyle, and you know, when we get together, we joke, we get serious. We joke, we get serious. But this was good. Keep it up. Let's do another one with Diplomatico. Oh yeah. Shout out to the hoodies. You can get yours at 18th avenuepodcast.org for the government. We're supporting the Trump campaign. The camera wasn't on me.